I've lived in Scotland almost 60 years, but what I've come to see in the Scottish borders today is something that I've never experienced before. So come and experience it with me. If you're interested in the people, places and events in Scottish history, then click the subscribe button at the bottom right of the screen and ring the notification bell to be told when I upload new videos. In the meantime, let me tell you a story. Now, people from all over the world watch these videos, and folks outside Scotland might see us as a homogeneous group of hard-drinking, tartan-clad, bagpipe-playing groundskeeper Willie lookalikes. You couldn't be further from the truth. I'm from Perthshire. I've been to many a Highland Games and Lowland Burn Supper. I've been to Cayley's and danced the Dashing White Sergeant. I've been to Uphellya in Shetland, but I've never been to a border festival or common riding. Have you? Is it even something that you're aware of? Let me know in the comment section where you're from and if you've been to, or for that matter, even heard of these wonderful celebrations of history. The history of common ridings goes way back to the days when borderers had to guard their own boundaries. In the days of Reivers or English invasion, you had to ride your own local borders to keep them safe from incursions. This is developed in annual commemorations that are the high point of the year for so many border towns, from the youngest child to the oldest codger. Each town has a different name for their iconic gent and lady who leads the ride out. Cornet, standard bearer, gadgie, callant. And in Gala, it's the braw lad and the braw lass. Now, before we go any further, I know that there are folks in Hawick, Selkirk, Langham and Peebles that are exploding with rage right now. Gala? Ours is older, ours is better, ours is... Listen, if you'd like me to cover the other border festivals, then let me know in the comment section. But there are a couple of reasons why I was interested to come to Gala's Braw Lads gathering. Firstly, because it's only been established for around 100 years, Johnny come lately, I think it gives us a unique insight. And secondly, I'm doing my live Scottish history stand-up show Stories of Scotland here in Macarts in Gala on the 9th of September. So I thought I should get to understand the town a little. And I thought you'd like it too. So if you're in the borders, then why not click the link top right and buy tickets for the show, or as always, there will be a link to my website in the description below for details and tickets of all tour dates throughout the country. And in Newcastle, that's right, we're going south of the border. Now, here in Macarts is where it all happens on the 9th of September, but if you want to see where it all happens today, the day all starts here at the Borough Chamber, where the Braw Lad, Braw Lass, President and Uncle Tom Cobley are in attendance. The flag is ceremonially handed over to the Braw Lad an ungodly hour of the morning, to be left in his care as he, the Braw Lass and their attendants ride the boundaries. It all started in 1930, when Gala looked at neighbouring border towns with their own common riding ceremonies going back for hundreds of years, and they thought, we want one of those. I think what's intriguing about this being so recent is we know from the newspaper reports how the first Braw Lad and Braw Lass were elected, and that on the day of announcement 5,000 people gathered in the streets just to hear who had been chosen. We can understand the context for choosing the historical events that would be commemorated as the representatives rode the boundaries. It was post-Great War 1930, and from here the party rode out to the Raidstane. The first record of Gala Shields is in 1124, but in 1337, when some English troops were heading back from a failed attempt to besiege Edinburgh Castle during the Second War of Independence, coming closer to the border, they started to relax. And with it being autumn and them being hungry, they started searching the area for plums from local plum trees. Now, some local lads saw them, rushed them, and hacked them down with sword and axe, killing the English to a man, and the stream ran red with blood for 3 days and 3 nights. I'm guessing they exaggerated the end of that story. But congratulating themselves that the plums had been a sourer fruit than the invaders expected, sour plums, or sour plumes, were added to the borough crest. Rabbie Burns wrote a song, and the raid stane each year is used for the town crier to make a proclamation, the braw lads to place a standard in the raid stane, and then they're presented with cuttings of the sour plume tree, from which they present a sprig on bended knee to their braw lass. Then they remount and head off to Abbotsford, the home of the man who invented the historical fiction novel in the first place, Sir Walter Scott. They tell me that Gala was originally a village to house pilgrims visiting Melrose Abbey, so maybe Abbotsford was where the monks forded the river. Today, it's forded by the braw lad, braw lass and their attendants as they bear the flag over the Tweed to the Abbotsford of Walter Scott. There's no doubt that this is a stage of the day much loved by locals. Crowds find every vantage point to cheer the riders on. Parents wean their children on the culture of the town. There are more safety precautions these days than there would have been in days of yore, but this is possibly the most dramatic part of the boundary riding, as the supporting riders follow the flag bearers in a wonderful equine ribbon flowing across the river. Horses and riders of all shapes and sizes make the spectacle for the whole town and surrounding area. For me, this was a special experience seeing them cross over to Abbotsford. At the first common riding, the company was welcomed by Scott's descendant, Major General Maxwell, who welcomed them into his home. Today, there will be a representative who will take them to sign the visitor's book and present some roses. More of those roses later. Before that, there's a gallop around the Gala Hill to ensure the safety of the metropolis. Then, up the main street and back to the town cross for the next ceremonial. Now this bit is interesting. This Mercat cross replaced an older one back in 1887. At its base are bronze plaques that celebrate the marriage of James IV of Scotland and Margaret Tudor of England, with emblems of both countries. It seems that things had moved on from the bloodthirsty plum incident. So, at the first gathering in 1930, when the union wasn't a hot political issue, they commemorated the marital union in 1503 that ultimately led to the political union of 1707. I've made a video about this marriage of the thistle and the rose, and you can see it if you come back and click the tab top right. I'm told part of the Ettrick Forest was given to Margaret Tudor to secure her dowry, and this part of the day commemorates that, with the braw lass mixing white roses of York and red roses of Lancaster together to make the Tudor rose. Then she puts them on the cross in a wreath of thistles. Next, she accepts a sod of earth and a stone that had been brought from the Torwoodley Tower as part of the ceremonies earlier in the week. It all represents the transfer of land. Then the Laird of Galashiels presents the provost with a parchment with a citation creating Galashiels into a borough of barony.
And I now proclaim.
The next bit has got to be the most exciting part of the day for an outside observer like me. Right now, Scott Street seems like a normal street, but in the afternoon of the braw lads gathering, it throngs with people jostling for position to see the spectacle. First, the ceremonial group canter up the street, then come all the other riders to follow them. Watching them clattering up this street is truly an exhilarating experience. Riders not just from Gala but from surrounding border towns as well. I'm only giving you a snapshot. Over 200 persons leaders raced up this hill here to the delight of the crowd. You truly have to come here and see it for yourself. Now, for all the ancient history represented in the various border festivals, here's the thing that strikes me about the one in Gala being so recent. You see, because it was instituted in 1930, it was only just after the Great War. Bear in mind that Galashiels isn't a huge town. It lost 600 men in that war. 600 husbands, brothers, sons, friends. People who would still be remembered 10 short years after that gruesome conflict ended. Little wonder that remembering them became the culminating event of the day's grand ceremonials, as the Braw Lad dips the flag and the gathered crowd observe respectful silence. Now, this is just the main day in what will be weeks, even months of activity. The Braw Lad will hand back the flag and folks will go on to celebrate throughout the town this evening. There will be music and dancing in various venues, including Mac Arts that will host me on the 9th of September, remember. I said one of the things that I found interesting in coming to this common riding was that when it was instituted, the sensibilities of the time produced a day that honours a writer that we still read today. It celebrates both battles against our southern neighbours and the root of the Union with them, as well as commemorating a time where men, both sides of that border, gave their lives for, well, I'm not entirely sure what for. These events wouldn't even have happened, let alone be commemorated at the first Hawick common riding. Of course, over the years, the nature of ceremonials have developed and evolved within the main structure. It made me wonder, in the current political environment of independence versus union, would the town include the same events and ceremonials if starting today? Then again, I'm a Scotsman who's come down from Perth. Kev, my mucker who's helping with filming and drone work, is an ex-army Englishman, or more accurately a Scouser, who now lives in Selkirk. In different ways, we're both outsiders here. This event is something that's much more local than either of us. It's border culture. Kev and I are just observers. This is Gala's Day. And to celebrate it, Gala folk have come home from Singapore, Mauritius, Hong Kong, the USA and Spain. I just feel privileged that a lad from Perth has brought you here to sample part of it. What history would be included in your town's common riding if it was invented today? There's another border story coming up on screen now. You can help the channel with a thumbs up, but if you have the means, please help fund these videos by clicking top right to become a Patreon member, or you can buy me a coffee in the description below. Remember, and come and see me in Gala on the 9th of September. Hamid Dawkins going to be a llama alive. Cheery Andrasta.